Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third webinar of the Young Manufacturing Leaders. I'm Jacopo Farina, and I'll be your host for tonight. Let's give a short look at the agenda of tonight's meeting. As you can see, after a brief introduction, where we can say who we are, what we do as Milan City Hub, then there will be a contest set up talking about space economy in the today's society. After that, we will conduct an interview with Urbi et Orbit case study with its founder and CEO of this Italian startup working in this environment. And following that, there will be a Q&A session when you'll be able to ask your own questions to the guest of today's meeting. Finally, there will be simple and short final remarks. So just to give you an overview of what YML is. YML is a global initiative which is founded by the World Manufacturing Foundation with the funds coming from European Commission and AIT Manufacturing. It is part of a different type of city hubs. Each of that is associated with a top-ranked university and research institutes that act as an endorsers. And we count more than 300 members nowadays. Regarding the Milan City Hub in particular, we have 3 pillars that we try to address during our events, which are sustainable development, careers, manufacturing, and digital innovation. Why you should join Milan City Hub as a network of young talents and young professionals. If you are interested in knowing more and so deepening your knowledge around the manufacturing and industrial innovation, then you should be a member of YML. If you are a young professional who would like to implement and shape the industry of the future, then you should join YML. You can access to the local activities such as on-site events or the webinars like the one that we are conducting today, as well as international activities conducted by the YML Central Network, such as the workshops, Back to the Future, the contest, the World Manufacturing Forum contest of 2021. Also this year there is a contest, and later I will show you the real example, and as well hackathons. You can join by surfing through our social media pages, as well as our websites. And in general, just a limit. You should be between 18 and 30 years old. About tonight, these are the panelists. On the left, there is me. On the right, there is the co-host, Francesco Canossi, member of YML City Hub of Milan, and alumnus of the Collège d'Ingénieurs. In the center, on the center left, there is Alessandro Paravano, PhD candidate at Politecnico di Milano, and researcher about space economy for Osservatorio Digital Innovation. And the center right, there is the special guest of tonight, the CEO and founder of Urbi et Orbit, the Italian startup that we will analyze today. So just to give a quick overview about the tool that you can use to ask your question tonight for the Q&A session, as previously anticipated. The tool is Slido. You can scan the QR code on the right with the camera of your smartphone, or you can type inside the navigation bar slide.doc. Once you are inside the website page, you can insert the hashtag YML and you can find our event page. In this page, you can post your questions anonymously or disclosing your names. But at the same time, you can also vote the question posted by others. In this way, while we start the Q&A session, we will start from the top voted questions and scrolling down the list. So I wish you a good webinar and see you later. Go ahead, Francesco. Okay, there is a problem with the connection, so I'll go ahead. So thank you, Alessandro, for joining this webinar. Alessandro, just an introduction question. Can you explain why nowadays space economy is becoming more and more relevant?
Okay, thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, Jacopo, for the introduction, really useful. I will go directly to the point. So why nowadays space economy is becoming even more relevant than before? Well, let me just define what new space economy is. So as defined by OECD, it is the full range of activities and the use of resources that create value and benefits to human beings in the course of exploring, researching, understanding, managing, and utilizing space. So interest in new space economy has growing rapidly during the past 10 years. And the reason why is that both incumbents and non-space firms are attracted, let me say, by new opportunities and challenges. So, few examples: the liberalization of the market, the cost reduction of the space infrastructure deployment and management. Just to give you an idea, when the space shuttle was in operation, it was able to launch a payload for a cost of around $50,000 per kilo. Okay, nowadays the SpaceX Falcon 9 is able to launch a payload for almost 2,500 euro per kilo. Okay, so there is a huge decrease of cost of this kind of this infrastructure. Of course, the satellite and technologies miniaturization and the increased accessibility to new space technologies and especially data. So here another example, looking at the Copernicus space program, that is a huge program provided by European Commission. We roughly have 10 petabytes of data downloaded per month, and that is a huge number of data that we have. And last, governments, let me say, and public agencies are launching new space program and joint actions to foster the radical transformation of the space industry that has been estimated will be worth around 1 trillion by the 2030, and nowadays value around 366 billions of dollars. So in conclusion, let me say that yeah, the space economy is a growing and evolving phenomenon with a strong impact on the society, and with more immediate and tangible implication than in the past.
Okay, this is great as a very high-level overview, a general overview, but how would you describe space economy with only 3 keywords, just to get simple?
Okay, that's a really good question, because it's really difficult to being simple when you talk about space, but let me just summarize. So we can define it as the first keyword is for sure cross-technology, because new space economy is a cross-technological phenomenon. Let me say that the value of the new space economy lies in the virtuous integration and combination of space technologies and digital technologies. Okay, simple example: satellite images are processed and combined with in situ data and processed thanks to machine learning algorithm, artificial intelligence, reducing cost and time and increasing the effectiveness of the analysis. So this is the first point. The second one, I think, is the cross-industry, because today the space economy is no longer a theme for the insiders of the space economy, but it's also an opportunity for other industry. Okay, so it is really a real economy, okay, that is involving new service provider coming from other industry. So for example, you have Amazon that is entering in this industry, new system integrators such as Google that now are entering these new trends. And so the value network and the value chain of the space industry is really shaping. Okay, so let me just do a few examples to explain you why it is really a cross-industry phenomenon. So for example, in precision agriculture, the use of Earth observation images are really helpful to monitor the use of pesticides on crops, to analyze the fertility of the soil, and all these kind of things. On the other hand, satellite images are also useful to monitor the infrastructure. and the asset for the energy distribution networks, okay, even in the planning phase to understand and predict, I don't know, how the performances, the future performances of your plants, even during the operation and maintenance phase where you can really understand the state of your infrastructure, and then during the service provision. And another simple example that nowadays we are using every day is the GPS. So the satellite navigation technologies are completely reshaping the way we are moving. Okay, so they are reshaping the mobility in our cities, and in the future it will be really a good, another good point, an aspect that we have to consider. The last one, okay, is for example for insurance companies, they are really interested in space-based services to improve the risk forecasting. For example, for I don't know, maybe for assessing the risk related to a damage for an infrastructure, or for I don't know, a city, and this kind of application. So the second one is cross-industry, cross-technology, cross-industry, and the third one, I think, is a direct consequence, is opportunity. Okay, that is really important even here today for your community, because it has great opportunities, great potential, and there are many opportunities for young students, for young leaders, because there are a lot of technologies that you can easily access. Okay, not so easily, but better than before. And in the future, I expect that the ability to integrate the space into everyday life and everyday work will be something that a must-have for a manager. Okay, so just to summarize, it is a cross-technological phenomenon, a cross-sectorial phenomenon that has great opportunities for us and also for the society.
Yeah, it seems that there is a great ecosystem that is working behind this new trend. So I think that this is the case of Urbi et Orbit. So welcome, Mauro. Thank you for being here. And can you please introduce your company, Urbi et Orbit, how the idea was born, how it is conceived, how it is funded back in the years?
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Mauro Venanzi, the CEO of Urbi et Orbit. Urbi et Orbit is a young company. We have more or less 6 or 7 years of experience on, and we are working on the field since 2015. Well, we started with winning different tenders and calls. In particular, the team book up venture capitalist call tender, the Smart Start Minister of Economic Development calls, and the European Space Agency call. So we started with a financial portfolio of projects that we helped us to start the company. Urbi et Orbit is a geospatial company, it's a geospatial agency. It's a little company, it's a young, not anymore a startup. We are more or less a little company, and we deal with the geographic informative system and satellite application.
Yeah, it seems like the path is very clear. I mean, you have a great idea with great potential. Venture capitalists are, invest on it. They give you value to your idea. But which are the most relevant use cases that you're addressing with your services? Which are the benefits that you're providing as a startup in this ecosystem?
Well, let's say that we have the humility to make research and development, even if this is more a big company task. But we started trying to innovate what is the proposal, what was the proposal in the geographic informative system. First of all, introducing the satellite application, and secondly, according to what is already described here, we accepted the fact that the cost of data and the dissemination of data and the possibility given by the European Space Agency with the new satellite program maybe in our mind could help new market segment to access to the possibility of the space application. And this is what we thought some years ago, and in fact we are quite near to this condition. So the value that we provided is to give access to the space technology using an acceptable cost level solution.
Yeah, this is cool, but how to apply all these things that you told us into the manufacturing industrial world? What is the next in this sector under your point of view?
It depends very much what you mean for manufacturing, but as for what we do in this sector is to use the satellite and space data in order to monitor, basically monitor concept. The base concept is to monitor the area. What Orbit provides, and this is the main keyword of our company, is to use the capability of lowering the cost of data. Of course, this is a sort of key secret of the companies, but basically it's we are very focused on the result of application and not to sell and to charge the customer with costs that are regarded to data, because data are public, and but if you want to have some other kind of data, in particular the high resolution, the charges can be very important, and it's something that should be avoided when you would like to propose outcome to the stakeholder.
I mean, what you're saying, it's really interesting because you are putting customer first. You have a very customer-centric approach. This is something that I think customers somehow recognizes and can let you win the competition. But who are your competitors nowadays? There are other startups or established companies that does what you're doing, or you are unique?
Space economy is a very big family, so there are companies of all types, and as in other markets, there are fundamentally two levels. There are big players, and you know what I mean for big players. Here in Italy, we also have still centralized economy based for space application that is based by a governative financial proposal, something like this. And the other group of companies, very large group companies, normally are verticalized and specialized. So and this is what we would like to do, in the sense that we have focused some segment of the market where to approach and to give result and outcome. So there are many competitors, low level, high level, but any of these has some different purpose, and of course top players are not interested in, or maybe are interested, but but they can't approach our market segment, and the leader players are interested more in other market segments.
And which are your market segment? I mean, who can afford this type of services that you're providing with your solution?
We focus at 2 or 3 market segments, so not so much. Of course, the market is very large, but we deal with in the banking and infrastructure sector. These two are the most important, most relevant for us. Banking means not in the sense of financial, but in the sense of goods and property management.
And what about infrastructure instead? What is the use case for this type of segment?
The infrastructure for us are in the sense of highway and roads, in particular highway. The needs of digitalization is a trigger for investment in new solution, and basically there is the intention to provide some monitoring, some smart monitoring service into the sector in order to be able to sustain the development of new services and to sustain the approach for new and future vehicles. You know, we don't know what we will drive in the next from 10 years, in the next 10 years. We know, but maybe somebody is now is focusing some kind of new application and innovation also in the infrastructure for viability.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what can be the future with autonomous vehicle or, I mean, at least assisted guidance vehicle. But about the technological point of view, you said, I mean, you can provide some services that are correlated with smart monitoring. There are many type of technologies that could do this, but what is the technology that enables space economy to do this type of things? I mean, you provided some machine learning techniques to help these customers to do this, or what else?
We have chosen our first days of life to use just enterprise and portable and standard technology. We use Esri technology first of all, so we are expert on this technology, and we will bring with us the technology. We do not propose any custom approach for the customer, because it's not feasible for our target market level to use a in-house solution just to pay us for the development. We are not developers. This is the sense. So the customer would like to have a solution that is portable, maintaining in the time, that is trusted and based on enterprise technology, a solution that he can handle and can develop, and we can sustain and propose and work with the customer on the solution, so in the time and in the future. This is the first choice. Other technology, yes, of course, there are other technology. Machine learning, artificial intelligence is not a key asset for us. There are other initiatives we are working for where artificial intelligence, machine learning is required, but is not a key asset, and can be in the future for in some cases. We have studied the possibility to apply the object detection and a rigid object detection satellite high resolution optical data, but I think that there is still very much resistance from the market. When the market feels or listen about artificial intelligence or solution based on machine learning, we didn't get a really good feedback. Maybe they got it out. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence and this type of techniques are somehow brand new, but I think also space economy is a brand new economy. How do you communicate with customers? I mean, do you have to somehow do some training to customers to fully exploit these technologies, or is so simple that they instantaneously got it in their mind? I mean, the benefits that comes from your technology and what is space economy applied to their industry?
Didn't get the question.
No, I meant artificial intelligence. As you said, sometimes customer could be scared, could fear this type of technology because they do not get what is behind it. I mean, from a customer point of view, maybe also space economy could be somehow something new, something they never met in their life, professionally talking. So, is it difficult to communicate the benefits that comes from your type of solution, or not?
It depends the means that you use to communicate benefits. The wide error that startup and engineer as me do is to focus on technology and not on result, to focus on satellite instead of outcome, to focus on skills instead of output of the project. So a stakeholder is interested in solving problems, in solving in a smart way something that now is heavy, it's difficult, and at the same time some part of our stakeholder is interested in maintain the status quo. So this is something that it should be clear in our mind in order to focus who talking to and who not talking, because so you have to decide which is your best stakeholder in order to do your proposal.
I mean, just the last question. Where can we find Orbit Orbit in 5 years? What are your plans, if you can disclose the high-level plans? I mean, what are your way to scale up to conquer the world? I mean,
we just would like to consolidate our market position in the local market, and we have accepted the challenge to make internationalization process in order to to extend our experience, in order to approach some other market, some other point of view that can help us to design better our future. So first of all, consolidation, and secondly, internationalization.
okay. If you're fine with that, I think that we can move to the Q&A session. I asked Alessandro also to join us because there are some questions also for him, some for Orbit Orbit. The first one, I think it is for you, Mauro. The audience asks, which advice would you give to someone who is willing to found its own startup in Europe?
Well, we are a young company, so giving advice from us maybe it's something that can be helpful or no, I don't know. But if you want to make this career, maybe you should start with a very clear and very structured organization vision. You should have a very clear in your mind that you should support an organization that in the first years of your activity you will have many roles and many purposes at the same time. So you have to sustain the organization even if you are so small. At the same time, you have to be very smart.
Yeah, I bet on that. Maybe just to link to this question, there is another that asks, how to scale up easily in this market. I mean, idea versus partnership, it's written. So I think that they are asking if it's the idea that counts or also the ecosystem where you move in, the contact that you have, the network. What is the real point of difference? Maybe both.
There are two possibilities as the Polytechnic school teached me. There are two possibilities: cost-based or value-based solution. So that's that's your, you have to move. You can change from another according to the opportunity. So choose it, which is the value of your solution. If you cost-based or it's value-based. If you have a great idea and you are able to execute your idea, because innovation is not an idea. An idea doesn't mean anything in the market, because you are in the most competitive and the most advanced market segment, industrial market segment in all the world. Because we are talking about geospatial. Here we have the European Space Agency. Here we have Thales Alenia, Egeos, Telespazio. Here we have the real core of research and development and innovation. Here we are talking about services and the solution that works in the military context, in the NATO context, in the operational critical context. So the idea is not the key asset. The key asset is your process to execute your idea, and a clear proposal that can be value or cost based.
Yeah, thank you for this insight. I think that the next question is for Alessandro, or maybe both. They're asking which type of competencies should be managed by a YMLer willing to adopt space economy solution in the industrial world. What do you think that we should understand as a YMLer to adopt this type of solution inside manufacturing and industrial world?
Okay, yeah, it's a good question, really interesting. So, as Mauro said before, you have to understand the process to execute your idea. So I think that you really have to develop your competencies and skills to be able to execute your idea. So new technical skills and data management skills. So for example, I don't know, you really have to understand how to manage the satellite data, okay? Even if you're not a programmer, you really have to understand how it works, okay? Where to find the data sources and how they can be used to develop a new service, a new product on one hand. On the other hand, I think that's really important to develop a kind of integrative and multidisciplinarity skills, because this is really, yeah, as said before, is a cross-industrial sector, is something really new, and you have to be able to understand different needs coming from different parties. And I think that to work in a multidisciplinarity teams, okay, because you can't for sure do everything alone. And so these two main points, I think, that new technical skills and new soft skills, that is much more related to this kind of integrative thinking, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I linked this answer with another question that came in the same time. I mean, they are asking PhD versus practical experience, which is the trade-off. I mean, we have two examples of it. There is a founder of a startup, so someone that is not fearing to have his hands dirty, and a researcher. So what is the trade-off between the two approaches?
Yeah. Good question. I think that Mauro has a PhD, isn't it?
No, I have an MBA, so quite near, but not a PhD.
Okay, okay.
So what do you think? I mean, to start your own company, I mean, Mauro, I start from you. Do you think that the theoretical experience was enough, was a plus, or I mean, was something that, I mean, was there, but then the practical is something different?
Nice question, but I don't want to say anything dangerous for the economy or for in polytechnic school. So a very tough question. Of course, if you are not competent and not prepared to define to the world that you will do, you will be submitted. So that's point. So first of all, I am an engineer, and my school of engineer teach me to study first. First of all, we have to study, but study not to be competent in a theory, okay, but study to be consciousness of the content. It's another, and it's another approach. So you don't need many skills, but you need the skill that you will apply, and you have to apply your skill that you will you have to learn. So first learn, then apply.
Yeah, a very pragmatic approach. While from your side, Alessandro?
No, I'm in line with Mauro. I agree with him, and yeah, that's also why I decided to get PhD. You know, to increase my knowledge and to discover these new fields that is super new. There is not the right question, I think. Okay, as I said before, a kind of trade-off. When you are doing research, you can explore new fields, okay, with low risk, let me say, rather than starting a company, okay. On the other hand, for sure, you stay the majority of your time in a theoretical level. So when you're developing your research, if you're able to really grasp the industry, understanding the companies, work also with the company, maybe it could be a really useful experience also in the future to, I don't know, to start your own business, okay? So this is my opinion, my point of view.
Okay, there are two questions about career path. I mean, there is one that is asking us which are the type of opportunities in terms of career in the space economy field for an industrial management engineering student. So maybe in orbit orbit, which are the positions that you're looking for if you have any kind of open position? I mean, to enlarge your team, more sales oriented or more technical oriented?
Well, technically speaking, we get sources by our network of contacts, first of all. But of course, we are open to discuss this. Let me say, it depends on the moment. In this moment, I think that a more business and sales oriented person would be very welcome, because there are many opportunities to get, and we are not able to sustain, to follow up any of this.
Okay, got it. And the second question regarding career path is, what are the career path after a PhD? So I asked to Alessandro, maybe if you have thought about it, when you finish your PhD, what will you do? What are the options?
Yeah, good question again. Thank you for your question. So basically, you can stay in the university, in academic, and continue your research. On the other hand, you can go for working for a company. So for example, I developing my research project in collaboration with Thales Alenia Space Italia. That is the company that is funded my PhD scholarship. So maybe there will be the opportunity to work even in the space industry. Or the third option maybe, but I think that is not enough, a PhD. Before, I think it's even more important to have a practical experience to start your own business. So this is the three main career path that I imagine. Okay, consider that this is my answer now is much more related to the first question, that when we are talking about space economy, we are not just talking about space industry, okay? But maybe we are talking about new, I don't know, engineers that are able to work in other industry and are able to understand a bit how the space works and how it can be the satellite data or the space technologies can be used to improve their business. So this is another point of view.
Thank you, Alessandro. We have the last question for Mauro, specifically by the person that asked this question. What do you consider more valuable in the hiring process, a PhD or a same year of experience in a space economy candidate?
Really, I don't. It depends on the PhD. It depends on where you do the PhD. Why? It depends on your personal reasons. This is, I think, that the most important way to decide. I repeat, first of all, you have to know the context. So theory it's the key asset. Second, you have to apply. When you apply, you learn, for sure you learn more. You learn to work in an industrial context that is completely different from the theory. But if you are not prepared, you have a very good percentage to fail. That's the point.
Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, Alessandro, for being with us. I mean, you gave us such relevant insights about space economy and nowadays context of these microtrends also applied to the industrial world, which is I mean, we achieve our pillar of digital innovation inside the industrial sector. Just to project the last two slides, I would like to thank, beside Urbi et Orbit and Osservatory Digital Innovation that joined as guests during this meeting, this webinar. I would like to thank the Polimi Manufacturing Group for the support in the organization, dissemination, and the hosting of this webinar, as well as a special mention to our partners in the communication that are the Industrial Club of Polimi and ASSI Ingegneria of Federico II. In any case, if you're watching this video on our YouTube channel, if you want to collaborate with us, send us a message. Do not hesitate. You can find us on the different type of social media platform that I will show you later. Just a quick reminder about the YML contest for the 2021 World Manufacturing Forum report. There is still the possibility to submit your own case study that showcases how digital technologies can enable and promote circular manufacturing. In this way, you can get the chance to be featured in the 2021 World Manufacturing report, and you can access to an exclusive event that is the World Manufacturing Forum that will be held in the Lake of Como, amazing place, in the 20th and 21st of October in Chernobyl. So if you want to submit your case study by the 30th of July, you're still in time. More info and guidelines can be found inside the website page that are reported here. So you can search online youngmanufacturingleaders.org, or you can search it our social media pages, such as the YML Milan City Hub on LinkedIn, the YML Network, that is the general page, always on LinkedIn, and on Instagram at YML Milan CH. Then there is our email. If you want to contact us, feel free to do it. Also, feel free to contact me on my personal pages. So once again, thank you for staying with us this roughly 1 hour, and see you in our next webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.